tomorrow 20 pounds heavier, feeling like absolute shit, with no confidence, no energy, zero motivation, and I only had 6 months to transform into the sharpest, strongest, and most confident version of myself, this is exactly what I would do. And if the goal seems impossible for you right now, it's simply because you haven't walked the path yet. But I've done it, and I help dozens of people doing the same thing, achieving the same outcome. So there's definitely a blueprint to that, and it's exactly what you're going to learn in this video. Your only issue right now might just be that you are grinding too much, you're overwhelmed by work, there's too much pressure on you, and you spend all of this time, all of those years, achieving those professional goals. And it's something that I respect a lot. But here's the problem with that. By you investing all your time and energy into achieving those professional goals, you're actually neglecting yourself. Your health is on decline, you keep gaining the weight. Now you're at the point where you realize that you actually need to start taking care of yourself. Because despite all of this success, despite all of that money that you made, money cannot buy your health. And you become more and more aware of that. And I can promise you that the answer to your problem is simpler than you think. Because all you need is an easy framework, an easy blueprint to follow every single day. Your problem is not that you're lacking motivation. You have the desire. That's exactly why you're watching this video. The only issue is that your life is running you and you're not running your life. You don't have a clear structure, you don't have a clear framework to follow, and hence all of your time and your energy is going to work. And by you being in that same cycle every single day, it's gonna be very hard, to find the time and having the energy to actually go and do what is supposed to be done, hitting your workouts, eating the right type of food, having a proper routine in place. Because when all of those elements are combined, not only you're gonna be able to achieve, your fitness goals, but also still crushing it with your career, right? It's not like one or the other. You can have both at the same time. The answer to that is just having a blueprint and a clear structure to your week and to your day. And I'm a living proof that what you want is definitely possible because I've done it myself. A few years ago, I graduated from engineering school. And at the time, I was overweight, I had very bad habits, I was not working out, I was not eating clean, I didn't have any proper routine in my days. And I felt like I was slammed by work. My only focus every day was just like to wake up, go to work, and by noon I was already thinking about going home, collapse on the couch, because my head was just about to explode. All my focus and my time was going to moving up that corporate ladder, and I was basically living for the money. I was waiting for that paycheck, I was making those savings, I was doing those expenses, I was buying the things that I wanted. But deep down, I never felt really happy, like something was clearly missing. And I came to realize that it doesn't matter how much I achieve with my job, how much professional goals I hit, how much things that I get. Nothing will actually worth the feeling of me feeling at my best. And the only cure for that was me starting to improve my fitness, me starting to get in better shape. It is exactly what I've done. And it's not just about the way you look. It's more about the way you feel and how other people are perceiving you. I was a smart guy, I was working hard on my job, but you can tell by looking at me that, I was kind of neglecting myself. And even when I was to work and I was going in a meeting room and start talking, start presenting, you feel that people are not treating you seriously. And what I can promise you right now is, today is the complete opposite. When someone's noticing that you are in great shape, they can tell that you have a lot of discipline in your life, and they're gonna start actually listening to you. They're gonna start respecting you. So whether you want it or not, the way you look is gonna impact the way you feel and how other people are perceiving you. And it's also an asset because you feeling at your best, having more focus, having more mental clarity, having more energy is gonna actually help you reach your professional goals faster. What happened with me is over the last years, I tried a lot of things, so you don't have to do all of the mistakes that I made. And by trial and errors, I developed a specific framework, a specific blueprint. It's the same one that I teach to the guys in my one-on-one program, the VIP program. And it's something you want to access to. There's gonna be a link at the end of this video where you can apply for one-on-one coaching. But I haven't done it only for myself. All the guys that came through the program and follow that blueprint have seen massive changes in their life. Last one in question is my client Diego. He's an HR manager at a law firm. When he came to me, he was 245 pounds. 6 months down the road, he's down 50 pounds. And not only that, he's feeling way more confident, having way more energy. He's actually signing up for a marathon next year. And his schedule didn't change. He's still working the same job, having the same responsibility. The only thing that is different now was he has a clear blueprint to follow every day. He is following the same framework. He's very consistent with his habits. And it's all it takes, guys. Like, once you have the plan in place, the right structure, your only job is just to stay consistent. So I follow that blueprint, he follows the same blueprint, all my clients follow the same blueprint. What I can tell you is the outcome is priceless. You upgrade your confidence, you have way more discipline, you have way more energy, people respect you, you're showing up with more leadership at work, and your life gets better in general. You have way more control on your emotions, and when you walk in the room, people respect you. You know, the way the world is gonna start looking at you, it's gonna be day and night compared to today. And to be honest with you guys, like, you know, for me, this is a real transformation. The way you feel is priceless. The way people treat you is priceless. Fat loss is just a byproduct. So let's jump into the topic of the day. If I had to lose those 20 pounds in 6 months and feel the strongest, the sharpest, the most confident version of myself, I would follow the blueprint that I shared with you. And that blueprint consists of 4 main pillars. You have the athletic blueprints, you have the prime nutrition system, high performance routine engineering, and lifestyle and identity design. So I'm gonna cover each pillar one by one in this video, but the first one that I want to address is the high performance routine engineering. Before talking about workout, before talking about diet, you got to make sure that you're following the right routine every single day, having the right habits. Because by doing so, you're gonna feel way better, you're gonna have way more energy. You know, you don't really have, like, you know, a time problem, you have more an energy problem, because if you had the energy to go and smash a workout, you would have done it. The reason you're collapsing at home after work is just because you feel slammed. You feel you need to take all of this time to relax, you know, and let your brain cool down after a heavy day of work. But the thing is, you're just lacking energy. The reason you're lacking energy is because you're not doing what is required on a daily basis to improve your energy. It's gonna start by following the right set of habits, having the right routine in place. I think we'll have to start with the way you start your day. Morning routine. Everyone here needs to have a specific morning routine, a specific blueprint upon waking up that you must follow every single day. Or else you just early wake up, then you're gonna hydrate with some electrolytes. Electrolytes is key, guys, because after 8 hours of sleep, you are dehydrated. You need to make sure that you bring back in your system all of those electrolytes that you're using during your sleep. The sodium, the magnesium, the potassium. So any electrolyte packs you can find on Amazon, just mix it with some water and start your day with that. And you follow with some movements. You can do some stretching, some push-ups, walk outside. Just a way to activate your body and signal to your brain that, hey, we are wake up now, it's time to move into action. Very important aspect of the routine is everything that is related to recovery. But to get started, guys, like, you know, I don't want to overcomplicate things for you from the beginning. What you need at first is fixing your sleep. This one is overlooked by a lot of people. People neglect their sleep way too much. You know, sleep is not just about going to bed and waking up. You know, it's actually 8 hours of your day. Yeah, so you need to make sure that you sleep enough time, like, you know, 7-8 hours. This is the standard. But even having a proper sleep routine is key. Going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, so you can regulate all of your hormonal cycles. When you wake up, you need to follow that morning routine. And before bed, you also need a bedtime routine. You know, don't be on your phone scrolling on TikTok, you know, talking to everyone, because this is too much stimulation for your brain. You're gonna wake up feeling stressed, not feeling sharp, because just basically bombarding your brain with a lot of stimulation right before sleep. This is not ideal. So before bed, don't touch your phone, stay in a cold room, wind down, do some reading, something very light for your mind so you can actually go into that relaxation mode. Then you sleep, again, same bedtime every day, same wake up time, you sleep for 8 hours, you wake up and you start your day with a morning routine. This is how sleep should be, guys. Last thing is gonna be very important is to cut all of those bullshit habits from your life. All of those bullshit habits that you know you should not be doing. Whether it's binge eating, over scrolling on social media, being too much on your phone, drinking a lot on weekends, having a lot of junk food. We need to eliminate all of those habits, right? Because those habits, the problem with them is you're spiking too much of dopamine in your brain because it's instant gratification. You get the pleasure very fast, nothing after feel fun. So we need to bring back the natural dopamine cycle in your brain, right? We're gonna do it with some very simple habits. Again, it's gonna start with having the proper routine in place, but also expose yourself more to the sun. Take a walk outside, do some meditation, some breath work, so you can actually feel great and feel better in a very natural way without fucking up your brain. Those habits, you got to stay consistent with them every single day. Make them non-negotiable in your schedule. You must follow them every single day. Because by doing so, not only you're gonna feel better, but you're gonna improve your energy. This is what those habits are about. It's all about energy maxing, guys. The more energy you have, the more shit you're gonna get done. The next pillar is lifestyle and identity design. What I mean by identity is you got to be clear on who you want to become, because there's a reason why you want to do that. There's a reason why you want to lose this weight. You're not gonna get excited if your goal is to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds. It's more actually like the why behind the goal. Okay, you want to lose the 20 pounds. Why exactly? Who are you trying to become? You probably have an idea in your head of what is your ideal self look like? What does your future self look like? No one can picture himself in the future being in bad shape. Anyone wants to be in great shape. This is normal, guys, right? So you need to be clear on who you want to become and why that goal is important to you, right? Don't focus too much on the scale. Don't focus too much on just 20 pounds. Why losing that 20, 30, 50 pounds is important to you? Is it because you're in a relationship with a partner and you're feeling like she's not respecting you the same and you're about to lose her? So now it's a matter of urgency to address that problem of you being overweight. And it's actually your duty now to become the best version of yourself so that you maintain that relationship with that person. That can be an example. Or maybe you're thinking about having kids in the future and you want to be a great dad, you want to be an example for the kids. So it's natural for you that you want to be in shape. So be clear on who you want to become, why it's important for you, and also we have to be clear on how we're going to achieve it. The how, it's basically the blueprint. This is why I'm working out with people, just to give them clarity on the path that they have to take. And the last part is when, what is the deadline of these goals? See how everything works together. First, we have the vision, the why, because the why is going to be your desire. The vision is going to be your North Star. From that vision, we're going to set some goals. Okay, let's say 3-month goals, 6-month goals, 12-month goals. And from those goals, we're going to convert them into habits that must be followed every single day. So we have the vision, maybe it's in 5 years, 10 years, it doesn't really matter, but we'll bring it back to what has to be done today. This is why having framework and blueprint is important, guys. Because by you keeping that idea in your mind on, where you're going, you know that your only job when you wake up is just to do the steps that are required. Because when you're gonna start compound those ways, you're gonna just get closer to that North Star. So now that we have full clarity on who you want to become, why it's important to you, by when we're gonna achieve it, and how we're gonna achieve it. The next thing is we got to make sure that you become more an organized person. You cannot let your day run you anymore. Because now that you have consistent habits to follow, non-negotiable habits, you got to make sure that your day have full structure. Your schedule has to be intentional now. You need to know exactly what has to be done from Monday morning till Sunday night. Full visibility on your week. And a simple tool that you can use is a calendar. So now we're gonna block time for everything. What is certain now is you have time block for work, you right? But you have to include, work time, meals, time with your partner, dining out, Friday night or on weekends, having some fun, meal prep, groceries, like everything has to be scheduled in advance. And it's gonna be a game changer for you guys, because if now you have a consistent schedule to follow, all you have to do is to wake up and just follow your schedule. Everything will be written down for you. You don't have to think twice about it. You just have to wake up and execute what is in front of you. And some of you might be thinking, but okay, like I'm working a lot, I don't have time to go to the gym every single day. But here's the thing, you don't have to. When it comes to workout, all you need is 3 workouts per week, 1 hour maximum. Anyone here has at least 3 hours to invest, to become more confident, become the best version of themselves. If you don't want to do it, right, I cannot help you. You're just someone who's lacking desire. So it brings me to my third pillar, which is athletic blueprint. And as I say, guys, all you need is 3 sessions per week. We're gonna keep things very, very simple but highly effective. Simple exercise to follow, compound movement, focusing on hypertrophy, but we're gonna just make sure that we execute things in the proper way. Applying progressive overload, focusing on the form, reaching failure, having the right tempo when you perform those exercises. And on top of that strength training structure, we're gonna have a cardio protocol to follow. Having minimum of daily steps to hit. 10,000 will be the bare minimum. We're gonna slowly ramping up your cardio every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. That depends on your progress, so you can actually burn fat more efficiently. So we're not gonna dive deep too much on how to perform those exercises now and how we're gonna actually ramping up the cardio over time. There's gonna be more details about it in the program. But what you have to know for now is that it's very simple. It doesn't require too much time. It just requires more structure, and I'm gonna take care of the rest. Letting you know what has to be performed, how to perform it, and your only job would just be to show up and check those boxes. The last pillar, of course, has to be about nutrition, prime nutrition system. You have to make sure at first to be clear on how much protein you need to eat per day, how much carbs, how much fats. Your goal at first is going to be to lose fat, so we're going to be in deficits. And to be honest, I won't overcomplicate nutrition that much. Let's keep it very, very simple, guys. We're going to focusing on eating 90% of the time whole foods and have an animal-based approach. And we're going to be very selective with what type of food we're going to eat, focusing only on high-quality food, nutrient density, things like eggs, beef, chicken, avocado, rice, potatoes, fruits for the carbs. We're gonna completely eliminate processed food and just keep more flexibility. Once a week from now, let's say if you have to approach a social event, you want to maximize energy, you want to maximize fat loss, gaining muscle at the same time. And the only way we're gonna achieve that is if we get your nutrition dialed in. So be very intentional and selective with what type of food we're gonna be eating, having that 90% animal-based approach. When it comes to how you should be approaching your day structure with your nutrition, the last thing you want, guys, is to keep thinking about what you need to eat every day. And you certainly don't need to eat 5-6 times per day. It's more like a bodybuilder approach. You wanna keep things very simple, repeatable system, easy meals, but at the same time high quality foods, right? So what I suggest to use is a fast food menu method. Okay, think about when you go to the fast food restaurant, they only have few items available. You just make your decision simpler. So what you want is just have some core meals, maybe 3 to 5, that you can repeat every 2 days, every 3 days, every week. And you just keep recycling those meals. You can cook in batch, during your weekends, every 2 days, every 3 days. I don't really care how you do it, but just make it as simple as possible for you, right? If you focus on the right ingredients, how to say that animal-based approach 90% of the time, you won't have to eat multiple times per day. 2 meals, mostly for lunch, for dinner, and having some carbs before your workout. That's all you need. That works, and that's way more effective. When I say 90% of the time on whole foods and be very, very clean, it's because I'm allocating once a week. You're gonna enjoy time, you're gonna enjoy dinner at a restaurant or a social event. But in order for you to enjoy that time without, slacking on your progress. You need to have a structure and strategy behind it. This is why you need to remain clean most of the time, and once a week allow yourself some flexibility while staying within the boundaries of your protein and your calories. This is exactly how I'm approaching my nutrition right now. Keep it very, very, very simple. The simpler it is, the easier it's gonna be to follow. So to recap, guys, if I wake up tomorrow 20 pounds heavier and I lose that fat in the next 6 months, I will follow the blueprint I shared with you. The blueprint with the 4 pillars: athletic blueprints, prime nutrition system, high performance routine engineering, and lifestyle and identity design. So we're gonna be following a simple 3-day workout plan, 1 hour max. We're gonna keep the nutrition very, very simple, focusing on quality ingredients, nutrient density, and keep the meals as simple as possible. We're gonna be more organized every day, more intentional, having non-negotiable routines to follow, and the important thing is we have to be clear on who we want to become, why it's important, how we're gonna achieve it, and by when. The blueprint, guys, is the answer to your problem. As you don't need more time, you don't need more motivation. It's not too late for you. All you need to be more intentional with your schedule and having more structure into your days. That's all it takes, guys. There's a lot of information out there and it's very, very, very overwhelming. I get it. I tried every single thing. But I spent a lot of time over the last years trying different things. I failed a lot, so you don't have to do. And that blueprint is basically a simplified version of everything that I learned. It's packaged up for you. You don't have to figure out. You just have to plug it into your life. And if you make the commitment to stay consistent, I promise your life will completely change. I share my story with you. I share the story about my client Diego, who lost 50 pounds in 6 months. And I have way more testimonials about it. I work with people in all type of industries, all type of professionals. Everyone who came in and followed that program, I experienced massive, massive transformation. So you can be next. You too can transform yourself. You just have to make that decision. There's gonna be a link in the description of this video where you can apply for one-on-one coaching. So if you're ready to take your fitness to the next level, just click the link and apply. In the meantime, subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram